Hey, I just wanted to show you the market profile or the session profile. But I just wanted to let you know that this indicator that I had bought it like a long time ago, like years ago. So I'm not sure if it's still, like being sold or whatever the case may be, but it's going to look a little bit different compared to kind of like the stuff that you might see, or even the stuff that you'll see like on TradingView that's free. But like there might be a couple of things that might be missing, like with TradingView stuff. But the gist of it is basically, I look for areas that price could possibly go. Like me, I do like previous highs and lows. That's important, in my opinion. And that's kind of what I've been using, so I figured this would work well. So with like session volume profile or just volume profile, just a couple of things. Basically, like when you're seeing this is it already forming. That's why I always do like the previous day, because it's already formed the profile, you know? Like it wouldn't look like this when price is moving, because this is going to be constantly changing, basically. And so with that in mind, that's why, like I said, I do like the previous days. Like, okay, like where is the previous days, different highs and levels, that type of stuff, right? But more specifically, though, there's certain things to kind of look for. So I will also say that the way I have mine set up, it is set up for the day, and I have it where it starts off the basically 9 o'clock, which is like Sydney's session, like opening session, right? And because you can change it, the thing with this indicator is you can change it as far as how and where you want it to start and how you want it to calculate volume. So I have it for Sydney, and because of that, these blue dotted lines right here are the parallel lines. This is called an initial balance, and the initial balance basically shows you like the first hour or two of like the market, right? And it kind of gives like that range. So if you're ever going to trade like for Sydney or even London, there's a possibility that price might, move above it. And then you could just do like a, if price moves above it, you're going to wait for a retest. And then, and then you enter, and it could be like a quick scalp for, basically for, for Sydney. And, or London. Yeah, it just kind of depends, right? So with that in mind, I'm going to also show you that the market profile itself is this whole big thing that you're seeing. So the gray part is basically the areas where there's orders that's in there, but there's not a significant amount. And the blue part is the areas that are of value, where most of the orders and just activities in general that are happening in the market. And I'm going to zoom in here very briefly and show you that there's areas of high for that value area high, and value area low. And it's very faint, but it's this line right here. So I like using those specifically for like previous day, right? So this is a prime example. So this was yesterday's, love you too, previous day's high, and you can see like price basically was like reacting to that. And depending on how you how you trade and things like that as well, that's going to be dependent on your decision, basically. So with that in mind, the same thing too with the previous session low right there, right? So with that in mind, it's like these are, when this is happening, sometimes the value area high and the low changes a little bit, right? Because it's just the market's just, that's why, like I was telling you, like this is not like definitive. at all. So that's why I always look at the previous day, right? And then I want to show you that there's these two colors. You see the purple that's right here. And then I've got a turquoise color right here. And they signify certain things. So the purple is called the excess. And excess is basically, it's seen at the tops and bottoms of the profile. And it indicates the end of the auction and start of a new one on the candlestick chart, and is represented with a 30-minute candle with a long wick. And then the turquoise is called single prints, and they're the same thing as excess, but it happens inside the profile. Basically means like it happens inside of this, right? And they basically leave low volume nodes with liquidity gaps, and they tell us the market moved too fast through that area. And these are inefficient moves that tend to get filled, and we can seek out trading opportunities, etc. So basically, what I like about that is it does get filled. Like every time I see this, and if they're in key areas and key, areas of resistance, or like if I'm using moving averages or something like that, like for this one, like it's perfect. Like the price will come to it. I'm not saying like it's all the time. It's all dependent on the market conditions too, right? Like, it's not like, oh, every time I see it, I'm gonna, go after it. I still have to like wait and determine whether or not like this is a good trading opportunity, right? So, like we've got the initial balance that's here. All right, so just this is like a prime example. This is just a little example. So we can tell that this area right here during Sydney, right, it was kind of ranging a little bit. We noticed that. And this is just an example. It's not going to be like this. But, and then we notice that, okay, well, it's failing to push past that Sydney sessions high. And then we started noticing that with London session, okay, well, it's not pushing any higher either. And we also have this previous New York sessions high right here. And this is also the previous day's high. So that's like, okay, cool. So it's not going any further. And we started noticing that this movement is happening. Well, if you look, I don't know if you can see it, but right here, right, we've got these lows. So if we mark this area of low and we're like, okay, well, if price goes down here, there's a high probability that, price is going to try to find its, its sense of efficiency, that it might try to fill this. And if it does, it might try to hit over here. And this could have been a target area right here, or what people call like order blocks, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But, as you can see, it's like, okay, if it moves to that low, and if it moves to that low, then this is a perfect low risk opportunity. And if you wanted to, you could have entered right here too for that retest. And if you go on a smaller time frame, you'll be able to see like that type of, entry that would work basically, for you. So let me close that because that was messy. So there's that, right? And without going, like too deep into it, like you'll see this right here, right? Like here you've got the purple bar, right? But you notice too, if you look at the bottom, like you see how big it is, but price didn't go to it, just because we never know. But at some point or another, that's gonna get filled. So that's just kind of like how I look at it. But it's all just, I feel like a lot of this stuff is just very kind of objective, like it just depends on what you see. It just depends on how you trade and everything like that. But I feel like there's still not necessarily like truth to it, but there's kind of like, that's interesting. You know what I mean? And like look at this. Like this is like the perfect conditions right here for like all of the bars that I've showed you, right? So me, previous days are like my biggest money maker. So this was this was New York, all right? New York's session low and previous day's low, right? And you notice this is happening with Sydney. It's not going any higher. London opens, and we've got these little areas of single prints and excess prints, or whatever the hell you want to call them. And as you can see, it starts going down. Now that's me not looking further left. Like, I'll always look left because, price wants to find some kind of like efficiency, right? Like it wants to balance itself out. So because of that, this would have looked pretty damn good for me. And this is me not looking any like higher time frame. This is me not looking as far as like, to my left and seeing what else this price have to tell me. And this is just literally on the 15-minute time frame. But this is all like, good conditions. Like you're gonna have days where it's like it don't even look good like this. Like what the fuck is this? Excuse me. I mean, there's still opportunities because you got single prints and you've got, but I don't like it though. This isn't something I would be like pretty thrilled about. Mostly because of this gigantic candle right here. That move right there typically tells me that there is a possibility that price at some point might want to go up. But what also makes me nervous and like questionable about what price is going to do is because of this single print right here. I'm sorry, this excess right here, right? Because remember, price always wants to come there. And if it does, what's going to happen? So Thursday, this was just kind of meandering. It doesn't really know what to do. There's opportunities, but it's not the type of opportunities and market structure that I personally like. And same goes for, this one isn't too bad, but it still makes me nervous. Only thing that makes me kind of happy about it is, we started seeing a little bit more movement late London session, early New York session, and it hasn't penetrated Sydney sessions low and London's session low, and it didn't penetrate the previous day, Thursday's low. So that looks pretty fucking good. At least from what we're looking at, you know what I mean? It's always, yet again, it's always kind of dependent on what we see and what's happening when we're trading, right? But yeah, that's kind of all that I do to use it. I have my moving average, and that's kind of just what I use, and I do have an RSI, but it's not something I'm dependent on. And I do have my moving averages because my moving averages have always been like what's, kind of helped out visually and everything. So, but I hope you understand it. And if you have any questions, just like let me know. And yeah, just keep me posted. I hope this kind of makes sense.